All right, American Apprenticeship Initiative Grant, Part 7, Other Information Transparency. A Department of Labor is committed to conducting a transparent grant and award process, publicizing information about the program outcomes. The posting of the grant application to the public website is a means of promoting sharing initiative ideas. For all applications, grants competition will publish the abstract required in Section 4 B4 selected in the information of the F424 for all applications. Department of Public website, similar public address, publicly accessible locations. Additionally, we published a version of the project narrative required in Section 4 B43 for all applications that are awarded of the grants on the Department of website, similar location. No other attachments will be published. The project narratives abstracts will be published until after the grants are announced. If an additional information grant progress results for the use may also use publicly available. Department of Labor recognizes the grant applications sometimes contain information, but the application may consider priority business. Confidential information may contact personally identified information of the P2. Priority business confidential information is information that is not usually disclosed outside of the organization. Disclosing information is likely to cause your substantial competitive harm. P2 information that can be used to distinguish trace identity an individual's identity, such as the name, social security, date of birth, and mother's maiden name, biometrical records, and any other information linked or linkable to an individual, such as medical, educational, finance, and employment information. A strap will be published in the information in the form for originally submitted without any redactions. The application should not include an priority or confidential business information of the P2 summary. In the event of the application submits a priority or confidential business information to the P2, the Department of Labor is liable for the pausing of the information contained in the abstract. The submission of the grant application continues waivers of application and objection to the post of the priority of the confidential business information contained with the abstract. Additional application is responsible for the obtaining all authorization for the relevant parties of the publishing of the all P2 contained within the abstract. If the event of the abstract and priority confidential materials information of the P2, the application pre-assumed to obtain all necessary authorization to provide information may be liable to improper release of information by submission. In the grants application, the application agrees to indemnify, and hold harmless to the United States U.S. Department of Labor, its officers, employees, agents, and against the liability for any of the lost damages arising from the applicant. By such submission, the grant application of the application further acknowledgements have authority to execute the relays of liability. In order to ensure the priority confidential confidential business information, the P2 prior to particular disclosure to the Department of Labor written winning project narratives application of the project narratives will be posted as submitted to the second reacted version of the project narrative. With the priority confidential commercial business information, the P2 reacted all non-public information about the application consortium staff, if applicable, should be removed as well. The department will contact applications whose project narratives will be published later by letter or email. Provide further directions about how, when, and submitted the reacted version of the project narrative. Submission of the reacted version of the project narrative will be constitute permission for the application of the Department of Labor. The reacted version of the publicly available will be assuming the submitting of the reacted of the project narrative. The application obtained with agreement of the application decision material read of the act of the personal entities of the priority confidential business information P2 the contained project narrative. If an application provided with the reacted project narrative is 45 days of the Department of Labor's request, the Department of Labor will publish an original project narrative in the full after reacting only to the P2. Note the original unreacted version of the project narrative will remain part of the complete application package, including the application priority, confidential business information, any P2. Application encourages maximize grant application information the publicly disclosed to exercise restraint reacted only in the information was clearly priority, confidential, commercial business information or P2. The ready action of the entire pages section of the project narrative is not appropriate, will not allowed unless entire portion of the metrics such as protection should be disputed. Whether the reaction is appropriate will follow the procedures outlined in the Department of Freedom and the Information Act of the FOIA Regulations, Title 29, Code Regulation, Part 70. The reacted information of the grants will be protected by the Department of Labor public disclosure in accordance with the federal law, including Trade Secrets Acts and to 18 U.S. Standard Code and 1905 statutes, standing statutes 1905. The Florida, the FOIA Freedom of Information Act is the privacy of Title 5 U.S. Standard Code 552A. If the Department of Labor requests Freedom of Information Act requests the application procedures in the Department of Labor, Freedom of Regulations is responded to the request of the commercial business information submitted to the government will be filed, as well as the Freedom of Information Act exceptions and procedures. See Title 29 CFR 7626. Consequently, is possible application of the Freedom of Information Act rules and must result in the release of the information in response to the Freedom of Information Act request and the application reacted in the reacted copy. B, the apprenticeship web-based resources. The department maintains a number of web resources that may be assistant to the application. The apprenticeship takes technical assistant resources can be found at the Department of Labor Apprenticeship. Here, you can find the nearest technical assistance produced, including the Quick Start Toolkit provided with a helpful resource to start registering apprenticeship program, as well as the Federal Resource Playbook, which provides information with the federal funds, resources, and the support of the registered apprenticeship program. Also, we engage in the business of the 21st century registered apprenticeship community of the Practice COP, an online resource for the information of the learning of the peers regarding the initiative, apprenticeship strategies, participation, and strategies and partnerships being used in the training of U.S. workers. Visit the Common Office Community of Practice at 21st Century Apprenticeship Workforce 31.org. A publication, a prerecord of a prospective application webinar will be available to view no later than 30 days after the publication of the Funding Opportunity Act. Funding Opportunity Authority. For the details, please visit the apprenticeship homepage at departmentoflabor.gov. Apprenticeship web resources and career one-stop at www.careeronestop.org, which provides national state criteria career information of the Occupational Information Network (ONET). Online OneNet Center.org will provide occupational competency profiles of American Service Locator, which provides a directory of the nation's one-stop career centers. Office of Disability Employment Policy Research page. Department of Labor ODEP resources provide technical assistance policies and practices with the people with disability. Industrial competency models and career clusters. ETA and supports industrial competency models innovated to promote the understanding of the skill sets of the competency of the essential educated skill work from the competency model is collection of the competency that have been taken to define the success, manner, performance, and participating in work setting. Competency models serve as a standard parting of the design, implementation, workforce, and talent developing programs. To learn an individual validated models of the competency modeling house, the CMC careeronestop.org competency model. The competency model clearinghouse site also provides a tool to build customized industrial models, as well as tools to model career ladders and career latticing for specific regional economies. Career clustering and industrial competency models both identify the fundamental technical competency, the efforts of non-duplicative. The career cluster links link to specific career pathways. 6 cluster areas place greater emphasis on the elements needed to the curriculum, performance objectives, measurements, criteria, hopes, sequence closures, and product program and studies, development, and assessment information. The 16 career clusters areas that can be found in the accessing the careercluster.org Workforce 311 resources. We encourage you to review the information gathered for the conference call of the federal agency partners, industrial stakeholders, educators, local participation information resource identified and can be found in workforce31.org. At workforce3.1.org, find the consortment. 2. We encourage you to view the online tutorial grant applications 101 plain English guide to the ETA competitive grants available for the Workforce3.org page of grants toolkit. We created the workforce system strategies to make it easier for the public workforce and in partnership identify the effective strategy support and improve the customer outcomes. The collection highlights strategies and information wide range of evidence, experimental studies, implementation, and evaluations, as well as supporting resources such as the toolkit. We encourage you to review the resources visiting strategy workforce1.org. We created technical assistance at the ETA reporting Workforce 3.1 page financial that contains only online training of the resource, financial, administrative issues, and other online training is available, including not limited to introduction, grant application forms, indirect costs, federal costs, principles, and accrual accounting. E. Connecting on the other partner resources, application, organization, industrialized, registered apprenticeship that would be a potential connect the groups of possible partners, such as nonprofit organization, fundings, foundations, training providers, employers, encouraged to visit as interested, share information on apprenticeship, clearinghouse, web resources, created management and skills of America's future, the forums, the skill forums, America's future notes available, note that the views expressed in the materials, resource, and prepared private sector organization does not necessarily reflect all U.S. Department of Labor positions and policy. Inclusion of the resources have not been does not represent the official endorsement by the U.S. Department of Labor or of the organization. The problem, their programs, the products, of the services. Chapter 10, Office of Management, Management and Budget Information Collection.